Okay, let me show you the coolest thing that I learned from Chef AJ. Everything that I've done here, almost everything I've learned from Chef AJ online. You can look at her ultimate weight loss programs. Anyway, this is called scraps. You see that, how I named it scraps? And what this is just scraps, like ends of broccoli, ends of lettuce. I have some celery in here, the insides of celery. I have carrots. I have red bell peppers. This is the end of a celery. Can you see that? And I froze all this stuff. I stuck it in a bag, and every time I do my cooking, look, there's an end of a carrot. Every time I do cooking, I don't throw this stuff away or put it in a compost pile. What I do is I just take it, I stick it in the freezer, and you can see all the good stuff in there, okay? And I just stick it inside of what is called an Instant Pot, okay? And this is amazing. You stick it in the Instant Pot, and now check this out. See these goggles? Okay? These are my goggles for when I'm doing onions and garlic. So check this out. Where is my knife? Now I don't have to worry too much about the skins because I'll just stick the skins in there as well. I'm not going to eat any of this. I'm going to drain it out with a cloth at the end. Okay, at the very end when it's done cooking. See this cloth? I also have painters. It's a painter's cloth. It's somewhere. I can't remember. Anyway, I take the entire mixture after it's done. I put it in one of these cloths. I drain out the liquid, and that is making vegetable broth. And I use the vegetable broth for as a base to replace oil if you're frying something. So now instead of using oil to fry, you use vegetable broth to fry, okay? You gotta make sure the label's off, so I'm gonna throw that away. One time, oh my gosh, I was packing some stuff. I had my essential oil bottles inside my Instant Pot after a trip once, and I was so tired one night. I was making vegetable broth, and I didn't bother to look inside the pot before I started my this thing. I just threw everything in the pot. I didn't bother to look in there because I forgot that I traveled with that. So I still had my essential oil bottles and I think some batteries or something, oh my gosh, inside my Instant Pot. And I threw all these vegetables in there and I boiled it. And you know how high of a temperature, I mean, my God, I could have like exploded the Instant Pot, burned our house down. Oh my God, don't even talk about that. Anyway, so did you see what I did with the garlic? See all that? I'm just cutting it up like this. I'm not bothering to peel anything. And I'm going to take all this and I'm going to put it inside of the Instant Pot. Now that was 2 onions. Now this is going to be a very very intense tasting veggie broth. But if it's too intense, if the flavor is just too much, garlic is really good for you, by the way. If the flavor is too much, you can also always dilute it with water after your stuff is done. Okay? Let me show you the spices that I put in. Okay, so the basil, I have cilantro, parsley is really good in there, and then they have this combination guacamole, which I like to put in there, and dill, okay? No salt, no pepper. We can always add that to the recipes as we're doing them. But what I do is I just like to put in maybe that much dill. And that will be the same thing for all the spices, okay? So, hold on a minute. Let me just put all this stuff in. So it's probably maybe 2 tablespoons of every spice. They say, though, not to put in, and I agree with them, don't put in kale or any cruciferous vegetable because it kind of tastes gnarly. So I did that with once, and it just, oh my God, the broth just didn't taste that good, you know. And so this is my parsley. I'll put that in there. So just all kinds of vegetables. My father used to tell me about this. They cooked what is called la roux, R-U-E. It's a French thing, and all of the cooks in the kitchen at the end would always throw their scraps inside of a pot, and by the end of the day or the end of the couple days, they would use that in their sauces, okay? And so this is what you do. I think they probably still do that today. So I'm going to take some water, and I'm going to fill it probably halfway or so. And what a pressure cooker does is it puts the steam, the water, under so much pressure that the temperature is actually higher than normal, okay? Oh, by the way, about the batteries and the essential oils, I had to throw that whole batch away. It was sad. Thank God it didn't explode. You put it in always at 11 o'clock. Chef AJ says, stick the lid on at 11 o'clock and then turn it. Okay, and for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use soup. And so that puts it at 30 minutes. There's also a manual button down here that you can use if you decide. And that's it. You don't need it. That's what turns it on. Okay, so now you just leave it on. See? I didn't do anything. It just turned it on right away. You got to make sure that this thing is facing that way. Okay, because it'll also let out steam. What this little thing does is as the pressure builds and builds on the inside, what it does, there's a little knob in there, a silver knob, that pops up as the pressure builds, and that seals it. And once that knob pops up, you cannot take the lid off this to save your life, okay? Some people are afraid of pressure cookers. I used to be, but it wasn't until I learned how to use it from Chef AJ that now I feel a little bit more safe. Every year they have this thing called UWL, Ultimate Weight Loss, and they hold it in Las Vegas. I'm going this year. You guys should check her webpage out. It's eatunprocessed.com. It's really good. Yeah, and if you guys want, you can stick in potatoes and sweet potatoes and stuff in there, but pretty much that's all the spices I use. You don't want to overspice this thing. One time I did put like chili powder and chipotle powder and everything, and it just didn't turn out right. So I would recommend, if you're going to use anything that intense, other than the onions and the garlic, to just simply use basic spices, and then after your recipes, if they call for it, go ahead and put the chili and chipotle and stuff like that in there. Okay, guys, so now I'm going to let that go for 30 minutes. And it's going to produce wonderful, in fact, let me show you what it does. I already did some, and this is my vegetable broth thing. Hold on. Let me show you how it looks. Okay. See that? There's barely any left. I use it when I make burritos, to fry the tofu, fake tofu eggs. And it's, oh my gosh, it smells so good. You need smell-o-vision, right? But it's like, you can also eat this as a soup, too. So I make soups. You can just eat this plain as a broth, okay? And then for salt, this is what I use. Chef AJ turned me on to this. It's called Benson's Table Tasty, okay? You can buy it online, and it's a great salt substitute. And I decided to try, like for $1, she'll give you these little sample packages of seasonings, and they're really awesome. I bought all these seasonings: Gusto, Supreme, Calypso, Zesty, Masterpiece. These are all salt substitutes. Here's a Jamaican jerk, salt-free, which is great. And I found that the salt, whenever I eat salt, it adds 10 pounds to my body. just in water weight. Salt-free Mrs. Dash, salt-free herbs de Provence. That's what, you can buy that, but that's what my dad gave me. And then here's my seasonings down here. Probably could, well, chives are like an onion, so. And then, so I buy Benson's Table Tasty in this huge thing, and I just refill the salt shaker. That is beet powder, and that's, oh, that's turmeric. Sorry, that's turmeric. This is the Benson's Table Tasty in the large batch. And then, here's my spices. Once you start to cook this way, you start really, and not having salt, okay, you start getting creative with spices. And pretty soon after 30 days of not having salt, anything that's salted is just way too salty. You know what I mean? And so I just started, I had my husband build this spice rack because I was missing salt like crazy. And so I was doing everything that I could. In fact, check out this spice rack. It is so awesome. Look at that. He built that. Isn't that amazing? He's such an incredible craftsman. He's a great guy, too. Look at that. That's my spice rack. Our spice rack. It's part of the house now. So anyway, guys, that's how you do this incredible veggie broth that you can use for soups, replacement for oil when you're frying, and just to spice up your life. Okay? This is Edie the Salsa Freak signing out and thanking Chef AJ for changing my life.